Hi, and welcome to Straightening My Slacks. We use our powers for good. Oh my gosh, our mom said slacks.
You just said slacks. I'm Meg.
I'm Dory.
Dory.
That was ridiculous. Pants, jeans, slacks, whatever. This series we've been talking about boundaries and speaking up for yourself or asking to have your needs met. And what we're gonna kind of cap this like series with is debunking scripts. And what I mean by that is like what are the common things that we say when someone's asking if we need something or if we want something? What are the common things that we say? Oh, what's the most so I live in the Midwest. The most common thing in this area,
I'm
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
I'm fine. And then another is, oh hey, blah blah blah. Would you like to do something? Whatever.
I don't care. What do you want for dinner?
I don't care.
I don't care.
You decide.
Oh.
Um, you never listen to me anyway. That's one of my faves. Or
I'm tired.
I'm tired. Right. So I want to start by saying not everyone deserves your time and energy, right? So I'm not saying like every single time you catch yourself using these, because we're going to talk about them, every single time you catch yourself using these, you can't use them. You're at Target and something happens. That's not important, right? Necessarily. So you're also being thoughtful. These words work fine as a way to shut something down or to be able to move on. But that's not what we're talking about.
Also, I'm at a point where whenever I use these lines, I'm fully aware of
Yes.
I'm not present. I'm not 100% present.
Yeah.
And it's normally an energy thing for me.
Right. So I'm going to suggest to you that when someone asks us something about what we need or whatever, and we're using one of these scripts, that we're really projecting from the inside, like, I'm actually not okay. Right. And then as we've talked about in the last few episodes, I maybe also don't even know what I need. So this is why I've said this. Right. And then the other is that, excuse me, I just was eating some pistachios and
They're all in my
I'm like
teeth.
burping, cleaning my teeth. Um,
Slacks.
is that we feel like in our environment, either our partner or people that we live with or friends, um, we don't feel like they want to meet our needs anyway, based on how they respond to us. So then we've kind of just come up with some things that we say that just keep us out of that. So, um, I want to talk about each of them, or just kind of talk about them as a theme and just how you might do that differently. So, at a minimum, we've just named these things. So, being aware of when you say that, and then if that's actually what you meant or not.
So
Are you just raising your hand?
I'm just like,
My
oh
daughter
God.
does that.
Well, I swear to God, after spending the weekend with, I've started
She's in
doing
middle
it.
school, so it's like they do that in school.
It reminded me. So for me, getting married was like hell froze over.
Mm.
I was never going to get married. And then I all of a sudden got engaged. I couldn't afford healthcare. Not that I didn't love him, but Obamacare tripled my, and I love Obamacare. Universal healthcare is lovely. But for me, as a single employee,
Self-employed.
self employed single person. Anyway, I digress. The 3 month period of planning the wedding,
Mm.
I went to all of those outs
Mm.
within, I think it was 5 different times. Not only did I break off the wedding, I broke off the relationship.
Mm.
And it was like, I can't do this. It's too much.
Oh, with Chad.
With Chad.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, what? What? Okay, what's too much right now? Like planning what we choose for food, or I'm like, all of it. I can't do it. It's too much.
I'm out.
And he was like, well, I'm like, I'm tired. I don't want, it's whatever, you do it.
When really what was going on?
I wanted mom there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, our mom's passed away. If you haven't heard other episodes, she's been gone a super long time.
Almost 25 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting. Like when I was thinking our 10-year anniversary is coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and to navigate through all of that, I'm like, because I have so many, I work with brides now. That's what I do. It's such a funny thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember at some point recently, I was like, talking about, I literally broke up with him 5 times within that time. And every time he's just like, well, I'm still right here. You just tell me what you need.
Which is why he's perfect for
And
you.
I was like, I don't know what I need. Oh, and then it was mom.
Yeah. And so, how did you navigate that?
Well, I didn't say no, but no offense to my mother-in-law, she's very lovely. But she tried to overcompensate or infuse herself as
Sure.
the mother-in-law, and it was like, I love her. That's very sweet of her to do all these things. I can't have her in any part of this because it hurts.
Yeah.
So,
So did you get to a place that you did realize like, oh, I just am wanting mom,
oh yeah,
and then you could kind of put that aside and then start to speak
yeah,
up for your.
yeah. I mean, it was. I just. It was. I don't know. I mean, I think it was the last time when Chad was like, "Do you really want to break up with me? Is that what you want?" She said this to me like 5 times in 3 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just this. I can't do it the way we're doing it. It's too much for me.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, why? She just wants to be part of this, and I think this. She thinks this is what you do, and because your mom's not around. I was like, because my mom's not around.
Right. Right.
So then it was, and I was like, I can you speak to her? This is all too much.
Yeah.
And so he spoke to her, and she was like, oh my god, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Of course.
Right.
And then it was like, oh, okay, my way in the current state of affairs. This is
Mm-hmm.
how I will do all the other ones.
Mm-hmm. I love that story. I love that story for many reasons. One is that you finally got to a place that you could vocalize what your needs
Right.
were. I love that your partner was patient with you, right?
And it's normally when I get pushed into those spaces, it's a burst of tears.
Yeah. And it's a great example. I mean, I love you sharing because I love you. But it's a great example to share because it shows people you had to sit there for a while. And because your partner was patient with you. And I think that's really a big part of a lot of this is figuring out who in your life is safe. And I'm not. I'm just going to use my old life as an example. And my old life means when I was married, and this is not about him, right? Um, but being in a relationship where you don't feel heard or you don't feel supported or whatever the words are, that's not where you want to start practicing some of this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? You want to practice it with some of your friends or your other family, and then you're just kind of laying some ground rules like, hey, we're going to practice doing this.
Right.
In the, front moving forward, if I say I'm fine or if I say I don't care, you decide or whatever the things are, you're going to go, wait a minute.
Right. Chad
Do
literally was
you?
like, used all of them at once.
Right? But that you had someone to reflect that back to,
Yeah.
and then also sit with you in it to wait until you had an answer. Because I'm going to suggest that although we're talking about this in a lighthearted way, this is not easy, right? And it's not like you're going to do it once and you're going to have it figured out. It's something that you're going to have to continue to practice. And the more challenging the thing is, like
Right.
this, the more that it snags on old things and pulls on old triggers and things, the harder it will be. And so having someone that's willing to sit there with you is huge.
Well, and I oftentimes will say, if you're not fine, I understand you're fine.
Yes.
Who's fucking fine? Nobody wants to
Nobody's
be fine.
fine. Right.
So if you weren't fine, what could you be?
Right.
Or if I understand you're tired, what's below the tired?
Right. Right.
You know.
And I love that because that's what I'll say to my kids when they come in and give me some, like, to me it's a flippant response because my kids are good about I need this or whatever. If they give me a I don't care or whatever, I'm like, you're welcome to be whatever. When you're done with whatever, I'm right here. And then either you'll come back to me
Yeah.
or I'm going to come find you and we'll see if you actually need something different than whatever, right?
And oftentimes when we're like, if both of us are exhausted and like dinner is an
Yeah.
issue for us a lot.
Yeah.
Not often, but sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it's a good example.
Good example. And it's like, I don't want to cook. I don't want to cook. What do you want for dinner? I don't know. You decide. Actually, I would like to make this decision together
Mm-hmm.
because I'm where you are, where I'm indifferent. My belly is hungry.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would like to eat in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Or Bearcat's coming out.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's a great example.
we need to make this decision together. So and that's just come to us in the last like year and a half where we're like, and it's like, okay, do you want to chop or do you want to cook?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, I'll start chopping. And we just, something flows and we start.
Well, in that it's a good example too because if you're both struggling in this, if this whoever you're practicing this work with, oh my gosh, I must have done something to get the screen to thumbs up. That was hilarious. That if you're both struggling, you got to talk ahead of time about what the plan is. So like what we have in place is that if we have a day that we're both struggling and it's dinner, we have a go-to place that we go out to, that we get food from. And that's just, hey, are we at the place where we're at the go-to? We're at the go-to, right? Mm-hmm. But the underpinnings of all of this is communication.
Oh, yes.
Right? So again, finding someone that you can agree, like, hey, we're going to practice these and kind of lay out some ground rules and that you spot the scripts that we run and that we're just willing to be supportive and talk this stuff through with the ultimate goal of being, I need to know what you need so that I can help you get your needs met since I'm in your life and we're committed to that.
Right.
Right.
Also, I love you.
Right. And this is one of the ways I could love you more is you getting into your own minutia
Mhm.
and seeing what you need and telling me what that thing is. Because what's that? There's a book and it's like the five love languages or something.
Mm.
Great. Well, not if you're not able to identify what those things are within those five love languages, right? It's like, well, super duper, I know you love acts of service. What are the acts of service that are meaningful to you?
Right.
Right?
No,
Right.
I want you to figure them out.
Oh my gosh, I'll never forget. Oh, how many times I've heard women say this, and I'm sure I've said this myself too. Oh, I feel like my partner should just know. Do you though? I mean, do you really think they should just know when I am so complex and detailed? I actually want something very specific when it comes down to it. So my partner is the opposite, is that he knows how I want this exact thing. So he just steps back and waits for me to say what the exact thing is, and then he goes and does the thing. So I recently had a birthday, and I'm like, I want this exactly just like this. He's like, okay. But not until I gave him the specifics did he move on it because he knows it matters a lot to me what those details are, right? Which are often simple. It's just that it turns out it matters a lot.
Yeah.
Versus, I don't care. You decide. That's absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous because it's not true for me.
Right.
Right.
Well, and it's sort of like hunting for something you like versus like having it dropped on your lap.
Right.
Oh,
And it would be lovely.
yeah.
It would be lovely that someone would know me well enough and had listened to me long enough and somehow came across this beautiful thing they could gift or share with me and it perfectly landed. I would suggest to you that's not going to happen very often.
Mhm.
Right? It can happen with like with my kids because they're at a place where they're just, their interests are like this, right? But as an adult, that isn't as likely and it makes more sense that I need to speak into that a ton to really get into that nook and cranny and meet the need. Right. Right. That was a cleansing breath that we shared. Well, thank you for being with us and we use our powers for good. We'll see you in the next episode. Please.
Like, subscribe, or share.
Oh, dear God. Thank you for being with us. Bye.